Hi there. For this video, we are going to do a pencil pen. I've been wanting to do one of these for a long time, and school year's over, almost over, and so now's the time to do it. So I've got my InkJoy barrel here. I kind of flattened out the little raised spots with my wood burning tool. You can do it all kinds of ways. You can sand it. You can. Some people don't even bother with that. It just depends on the design, on if it's going to hide it. So let's get started. For starters, what I'm going to do, or what I did, was I marked off where I wanted each color, and I realized doing this that I only had 3 of the 4 colors I'm going to use. So I'm going to put silver right here for that metal ring on a typical pencil. So what I'm going to do next is put a little strip of electrical tape just to make it a little bit easier on myself. You could totally freehand this. My luck lately, I don't really feel like I want to try and do that. It doesn't always work. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the yellow first, because I can't find any of my paintbrushes except for one of my fat ones. So I'm going to do the biggest color first, because I'm about to head out and get groceries. I'll get more paintbrushes. Darn, I need more supplies. So I'm going to do this to all of this batch that I'm about to do. Got them all taped off. I've got a handful here that I'm going to work on. Got that taped off. I'm going to go to about right here. Don't really feel like I need to tape that part off, but we'll see. I may have regrets. And this also could take a couple of coats of paint. You could start with a white base if you wanted. It's personal preference and what's convenient to you. I'm not steady-handed. So we'll just let this layer dry while we paint the others, and then we'll come back over it. Alright, here's another personal preference thing. For this last layer, I have 2 layers on my pencil now. Or on my pen, technically. So now, I'm going to tint my Mod Podge. There's not very much paint left in here, so I'm going to give it just a little bit more. Not a lot. It's probably like a 60-40 mix if I had to guess. So mix that up, and now I'm going to use this for my next layer. And we're going to sprinkle our glitter as well. My high-tech glitter catcher. Another thing that you could do, if you wanted to do the little zigzaggies right there, you could absolutely modify it that way as well. My thinking, well, for one, I tried it and I failed miserably because, again, I don't have that steady of a hand. But 2, if you have a round pencil, you're not really going to have those. You only really get those because the sides of the pencils kind of create that. That's how I'm justifying it in my head anyways. So I'm going to put a nice layer on here, just as smooth as I can get it. Just like that. Put my paintbrush somewhere that I won't accidentally kick it, or drop it, whatever. I don't know why I said kick it. My feet are not up here. Oy. This is You Are My Sunshine from Franz. As you can see, it's my go-to yellow. I like this one a lot. It's great for school buses. Actually, she has another one now that's a really, really good yellow orange. I can't remember what it's called now. But it's the perfect, like, school bus yellow because it has that orangey tone to it. All right. Ta-da! You can see my streaks. I did not get it as smooth as I thought, but once that's got a name on it, you won't really tell. And I'm going to go ahead and just take this off. I'm gonna set it aside to dry. And then once it's done drying completely, I'll seal it with hairspray or clear coat. Actually, first I'll brush off all the excess. Then I'll seal it with clear coat and then move on to whatever I'm gonna do next. Probably here or here. Definitely not the pink just yet. All right, everything is sealed now. And honestly, you could do this color and this color simultaneously. Just make sure you don't like tap it over whatever second color you're working on. It's up to you. So what I'm gonna do now on this round is tape off this section. And this one won't be able to be as willy-nilly as the previous section because I gotta make sure not to try and get like paint all over that yellow, but that's okay. This will be pretty easy. Why did I pinch that? That's gonna make it actually really hard to get off. Boy. Sometimes I wonder. So instead of trying to match gray or anything like that, I'm just going to use white because it'll make my silver kind of stand out just as good as it can. I worried that making a gray might actually get on camera. I worried that trying to mix up a gray might actually work against me and make it too dark. And I really don't recommend trying to make your own blunt paintbrushes when you realize that you bought the wrong ones. It's not that easy. It doesn't really work. I'm not stressed. I'm not going to be stressed about getting right up against that because I've got some really fine foil tape. Pretty close, but it's not the end of the world if I have just the tiniest little gap. What is wrong with me? So I'm gonna let that dry. I'm just gonna do one color at a time and then I'll turn around and do this and just let them set aside. But by the time I'm done painting all the batch that I'm trying to do, this should be pretty dry and ready for the second coat. And then I'll mix Mod Podge in here just like I did on the last batch on coat number 3. And then we'll glitter it. For that, I'm gonna use Burlesque. It's nice and bright silver versus 308, which is right here. It's a little dark for what I'm wanting. If you don't have a bright silver, that's no big deal. Something like that would work too. I mean, even if you're doing like the Ticonderoga, I think those are yellow with like a green stripe or something. All right. So here is one of them. Got that painted. I've got my Mod Podge and paint here. I went ahead and switched to a different paintbrush because that other one that I had tried to trim, it was a fail. So what I'm gonna do, because I had a little trouble with one of them not getting up against the thing quite nice enough, it was a mess. I'm just gonna go around that real quick, right up against, just like that. And now paint down smooth the rest of it. We're gonna use Burlesque for this part. And now let's take this off. Ooh, I missed a spot. Ah! Sorry for yelling, y'all. It's a very hazardous hobby. Oh my gosh. Here I thought, oh, I'm kind of mulligan. Let's use the ugly one right here. The one that I cut, not thinking. All right, touch that up. There we go. After this is dry and I brush that off, it won't be so bad. So now let's do this part down here. I'll say one thing, holding these little pencils for so long, My hand is cramping. I have to get me one of those little jig things that holds the pencil while you're doing something to it. I know they exist. Okay. That's decently smooth. So we're gonna hop over here to Nala. There we go. So in a little bit, when this is dry, I'll brush it off and I will seal it, and then we'll move on to the pink. All right, last section here. This one's gonna be kind of weird because of the little curve right there. So don't forget to get right up against here and all the way around. Focus. There we go. So all the way to the edge there and up and over. I think next time I do these, I'll go ahead and base paint them white. I think that'll be a whole lot easier. Also, before you start this, don't forget to seal all the layers that you've already got there, just so you don't have any kind of crossover there. I won't bore you with the Mod Podge part. We'll skip straight to the glitter. Okay, ta-da! I did go back over all of those colors with just regular Mod Podge and another layer of glitter. So just full disclosure. Don't forget to clean up the inside. I started this one and then I realized, oh, wait, I should record this. Don't forget to clean up your rim just super carefully. That way your little clicker won't get hung up in there and bogged down. I like doing it at least the last layer or the layer before last, so that it just smooths it up right there. So I've got two different options here. I have my little foil tapes that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then I have these super duper thin nail tapes that I got on Amazon. They were a little more narrow than what I had originally intended to order, but no big deal. So before we do anything else, I want to do a light sanding because I want to make sure I don't have any weird little lumps in my foils that won't turn out really pretty. Get it just as smooth as you can. I do have 2 layers of epoxy on here too, by the way. I did 2 layers of glitter, 2 layers of epoxy. Nice and smooth. Let's do it right here. That one's actually all the way smooth, so I'm not worried about that one. Just for good measure, just do the rest so I don't end up with any random burrs on our last layer. So you can do this a couple of different ways. Make sure you have a cutting implement of some sort. A blade is really nice because it's just easy to get right up against the edge. Where's the start? There we go. Haven't used these in a while. If you hear sniffling in the background, my puppy's in here. The air conditioner people are coming soon, so you can do this. You can split it there, or if you want to make your edging a little bit, like your sections, bigger, you can do it this way. Just keep it straight as you're going. And get right up to your other spot there. I got that crooked. Like, really crooked. Just like that. So now you can kind of see where that little ridge is right there. That's where we're going to cut. Well, let's try again. If my blade was sharper, Me just pushing on it really hard would have done the job. Okay. So there's that part. And now we're going to do the silver and the gold. Same process. For good measure, I like to try and make sure all my seams kind of start at the same spot. That way that can be the back of the pencil or the tumbler. But whatever you want to do. Not any hard and fast rules really set for these. Here's how that one turned out. You could do silver silver if you wanted, just because you can. Whatever you want to do. It's personal preference. All of us like something a little bit different. So I've already sanded the next one, and now let's move on to the nail tape. This one is going to kill my eyes. It's so tiny. This one's a little bit more critical as far as getting it either right on the line or perfectly overlapped. But we made it. We did it. What I'll do before I go on to the next part is I'll run a thin layer of UV resin around here, and then put real epoxy, like regular epoxy on it. Real. Good grief. All right, so where's the back again? I guess that's how I know I did a good job with that seam. I almost couldn't find it. It's so tiny. When I ordered this, I was like, oh my goodness, that is so much of that tape for such a low cost. Like so many rolls. It came in and I saw it and I was like, well, that explained that. It's tiny. But still usable. That's all that matters. Okay. There's that one. Personally, I'm preferring the thin one, but to each their own. Okay, let me find the back again, right there. There we go. Good grief. This is why I don't usually put this part on camera. My big stumpy fingers just don't play nice with this tiny, intricate stuff. But that's okay, because we got it anyways. Okay, oop, that's a little bit crooked. I'll end up redoing this one, but you get the point. Ta-da! So the two differences of the thin versus the thicker. Amazon, Hobby Lobby. Let's put some UV resin on there, seal that up so I don't have to worry about lifting at all. Oh my god, it's so cute. I'm in love. I definitely love the thin more, but I like them both a lot. Whatever you want. Hope you guys make tons of these, have fun, and thanks for watching. Thanks for being patient since I've been a little MIA for a while. I'm so exhausted when I get home from work. So there you go, and you can see by my hand, I've already got something else going in the works for next week. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.